Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to the show, welcome. What we do is we take a look at some of the movies coming out on Friday, and we will honor said movie by picking an actor, actress, director, genre, what have you from said movie, and create a top 5 list and put it on that pedestal for the weekend. So, and the cool thing about the show is that it's live, so we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths, and we don't know each other's lists. Now, I apologize if you have been watching this for a long time. I don't know what's going on with my internet browsers, but they won't allow video anymore. So this will probably have to be audio either permanently for a while. I have no fucking clue. So there you go. You know, this is a podcast form anyway, so it's not like you guys are going to miss it anyways. But yeah, so I just figured I'd say that right away. But anyways, Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you know, just another shit day in the week. So, yeah, and we're recording this early, and I'm going to go ahead and edit everything and actually upload it tonight, and you will get it tonight, so you actually get it early on a Wednesday because I am nice. Because I know you guys love listening to this shit, so here you go. You get it early. So, yeah, you know, I'm doing okay. Brian, there's a lot of stuff coming out this weekend. Can you whittle it down for us and tell us what we are actually going to be honoring?
Yeah, we're going to be honoring the sci-fi film Life, you know, the new space extravaganza starring Jake Gyllenhaal, the beautiful Rebecca Ferguson, and the stunningly sexy Ryan Reynolds, who we are honoring this week. We've already done Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, we've physically done him. I wish I have, at least. But we're honoring Ryan Reynolds this week for Life, so yeah, Ryan Reynolds, booyah!
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this man, and you know, maybe throw some movies out there that he's in that not many people know about or anything. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of like our list and where we go and whatnot, because he's been acting for a very long time, but he's got a lot of terrible ones and stuff. But there's some hidden gems out there to make me believe that Ryan Reynolds is one of the best. I always enjoy seeing him. He always has that comedic presence. He's very charming as hell. So he definitely knows how to command an audience, as we saw from Deadpool from last year. So Brian, what do you think of the Reynolds?
Yeah, the Reynolds, to me, there was a point in time where I didn't really care about him at all. He wasn't really in the best of movies, but then I started thinking about it. Then I started seeing him more in these independent films, and I'm like, damn, this guy's actually a pretty solid actor. And then he started picking some good mainstream films, and then obviously Deadpool came out, and then Ryan is a vastly talented actor, and a lot of people still give him shit, even though everybody on the planet has seen and loved Deadpool, but people still give him smack, and I don't think it's fair because the guy is a good actor. So he's not the best actor, but for what he's done, he's pretty solid, and I'm excited to honor him.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well, and sorry about that noise bump there. Yeah, so I'm really excited to kind of just get into it. There's a lot of different ones on there for sure. So without any further ado, let's honor Ryan Reynolds. Brian, what is your number 5 favorite Ryan Reynolds film of all time so far?
I might get some flack for this particular pick because I know it's not the best movie out there, but to be quite honest, I don't know why. This is one of my few guilty pleasures. My number 5 is Just Friends.
Okay.
Listen, I understand this movie may be the cheesiest fucking love fest ever, but it's honestly, for me anyway, I thought it had a lot of heart. You watch the movie, and Ryan Reynolds, when the movie begins, he plays kind of typical cocky Ryan Reynolds, but by the end, he becomes a good guy. He was a guy. When the movie begins, he is Jabba the Hutt, literally Jabba the Hutt. He is so goddamn chubby, it's insane. And then we flash forward 10, 11, 12 years later, he's this big, successful records executive or something. He's very successful, I'll say that right now. and it's around Christmas time, and then he like goes home. It's sort of like the cheesy version of Garden State. Like, it's sort of like that, but obviously Garden State is much better. I mean, for people who've listened to the show, they know that Garden State's like the greatest thing ever made from my eyes. But yeah, Just Friends is really charming and endearing. I think Reynolds is really good in the movie. I loved his chemistry with
Amy Smart.
Amy Smart, the beautiful Amy Smart. No, I just thought it was a really enjoyable, entertaining, lovely, kind of underappreciated Christmas movie. I understand it's not the best movie out there, but for some odd reason, I kind of dig it. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah, I actually had never seen Just Friends, and I think you're the one that brought it up. And I saw it at a pawn store for like $1. I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's an enjoyable little romantic comedy. And plus, we've all been there, folks. Who hasn't been there when you've been fat as fuck trying to get that hot girl and you just can't get her, and then you shed all those pounds, look like Ryan Reynolds, and they just want to hop on that dick. So we've all been there, folks. I realize that's a common story. That's the way I was, except when I lost all the weight, I just looked like a Holocaust victim. I didn't really, look like Ryan Reynolds. All right, so my number 5, I'm going to go with the most recent one, the one he is basically known for at this point. I'll go with Deadpool. And the only reason is when you think about the story behind the movie and the fact that this guy spent so long trying to get this off the ground. It was his passion project. And when you see the film, I don't think it's like a masterpiece or anything, but I really enjoy it for what it is, and it's entertaining as all hell. And, he really kind of brings that extra level of snark and charm to this character while still having a lot of heart, because there is a lot of, well-done dramatic moments, especially for a superhero film. So I like the action sequences. I think he plays off all the other actors very, very well. Like I said, not a perfect one, but I have to give this one a nod just because of the passion behind this one and the fact that he's been wanting to do this for a decade now. So I'll go with Deadpool as my number 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one.
Okay, well, I kind of figured. So all right, moving on to number 4.
My number 4, I'm going with another somewhat underrated movie. I mean, this movie has vastly better reviews than Just Friends. My number 4 is the pretty underrated, and it's actually directed by the guy who's directing Life, Safe House.
Okay, see, I did not see Safe House.
Safe House, for people who don't know, Ryan Reynolds is like a CIA agent, and then he's in charge of like taking care of this criminal played by the Denzel Washington. There's no word to describe him. He's just the Denzel Washington, and that's it. It's a really engaging action thriller. It may be a tad formulaic, but when you think about it with the chemistry of Reynolds and Washington, it's really, really solid. They both work off each other extremely well. It's an engaging movie. I remember seeing this in the theater when it came out with my father, and I was blown away. Like, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I found it to be quite unpredictable. The ending I wasn't really like blown away by, but like I remember like being on the edge of my seat the entire time. And then there's other performances like from Brendan Gleeson. I think Vera Farmiga's in this too. It's a really, really solid thriller. It's probably, I think, one of the few underrated ones that have come out within this decade, and I think it's really enjoyable. So yeah, Reynolds and Washington working together, I was pretty impressed. Color me impressed. So yeah, that's my number 4.
Yeah, I've never seen Safe House, and it was one of those ones that popped up in the theater when I was working at the theater. Just never got a chance to see it, but it looked like a really cool, like you said, action thriller. So, yeah, it's just one of those ones I will have to skip. All right, my number 4 is Adventureland. Now, I know he doesn't have like a big part in it, but I like that movie overall, and I think it's just a genuine type of like teenage romance story during the summer. The summer flings, we've all been there, of Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. And once again, it's very relatable because we've all had those summer jobs where we've kind of had to raise up money so we can take to college with us, or pay for school supplies and whatnot. And you just kind of run across all these characters that are fully realized, and you realize that you have run into these types of people before. And Ryan Reynolds is kind of like that douchey jock or whatever, and you kind of have, like I said, run into him before. Like I said, he's not he doesn't have a big part in the movie, but I do like that movie overall, and I think it's very underrated. As much as I like Superbad, I think Greg Matala or whatever how you pronounce his name, I think this is his best one. Eventually, I don't know. I really enjoy it. It's just a very kind of feel good, hits you right in the feels. It's very relatable and stuff. So, and it's pretty funny. And also Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader in there as a couple, and they're hilarious. So, I'm gonna go with Adventureland as my number 4.
Big pass.
Big pass. What the hell is your list, dog? All right, what's your number 4 then?
We just did my number 4.
Oh, what is it?
Number 4? I just said my number 4 was Safe House. Did you forget to write it down?
Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm not used to doing an all audio thing because
it's not your fault. Don't worry, it's not your fault. It's okay. It's okay.
All my beautiful listeners out there, if you can tell me like a way to clean out my fucking internet browser so I can like rid it from like all this shit and then re-download it, that would be fantastic. Because right now it's being a bitch. All right, so what is your number 3?
My number 3 was your number 5, and that's Deadpool.
Okay.
As much as I loved this movie, when I saw it with all my friends opening night, I was the one who didn't give it an A+. All my friends gave it A+, I just gave it an A. Because, to be quite honest with you, while the movie is so goddamn funny, so goddamn clever, so goddamn fun, the plot is just a tad bit formulaic. And, yeah, it makes fun of the plot, but still, it's kind of a formulaic plot. And Ed Skrein, as good as he was, the villain just... The character, not the performance. The character just annoyed me just a tad bit. But you know what? I'll have to echo everything you said. The fact that he spent over a decade getting this film to be made is incredible. How this was his true passion project. And, it came out perfectly, in my opinion. As someone that's not the biggest comic book reader, I could say that I was really satisfied with this as a big fan of superhero movies or comic book movies or however you want to put it. And Reynolds was incredible. I'm so happy that he got a Golden Globe nomination for this. I'm even happy that the film got nominated for a Golden Globe. People were somewhat hoping that this would have gotten the Best Picture nomination because it had like an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. And you know what? It would have been cool, but personally, I wouldn't have nominated this. Script-wise, sure. Picture, Ryan Reynolds himself, sure. But out of all those performances that were nominated for Best Actor, couldn't have taken out any of them. Ryan Reynolds did not have any chance, but he'll be nominated sometime in the future for something. But yeah, Deadpool, incredibly entertaining. Glad that Ryan Reynolds made it. I'm excited for the sequel. I love the short that aired before Logan, but that's now online. Deadpool is fantastic. It's just not my favorite comic book movie. My favorite comic book movie of last year was Civil War, and but Deadpool was like second. Second. It was second. Deadpool's fantastic.
Yeah, I listen. I'm not like it's like I said before. I don't think it's like the best thing ever, but god damn it is entertaining. And besides Deadpool, another entertaining one. This is not my number 3, by the way. Is Van Wilder and stuff. And when you think about where his roots came from, he kind of took that Van Wilder kind of type of humor and charm, and he applied it to Deadpool, and it's kind of just coming full circle. However, those two movies are entertaining, right? But my number 3, I contend, is the best comedy he's ever been a part of. Raunchy comedy. I'm going to go with Waiting. Now, I have worked in a restaurant before, and I do realize that movie does have some gross shit in it, but I'm not going to say whether it's true or not. But no, it's basically clerks inside of a restaurant, and that's the premise. There's really nothing more to say. I like all the characters. I like just kind of following them around throughout the day. I love how it just jumps from the busboy to the people in the back of the kitchen to the servers, and Ryan Reynolds is one of the servers. It's just, people communicating with customers, and the employees talking to one another, and it's just a funny movie. Like I've seen that movie more times than I can count. I have not seen the sequel because I do not want to see that. It looks awful because all the big name stars are not in it. But I really enjoy Waiting for what it is. It's basically clerks and set in a restaurant. it is my number 3. I think it is the best comedy that he's ever done. Van Wilder was the first thing I ever saw, and of course, like Deadpool and all these romantic comedies. But there was something about Waiting to where it kind of applied to Adventureland once again, where everyone can relate to this. It's jobs that most of us have had throughout high school and whatnot. I had it later in my 20s because I was unemployed for a while, so I had to pick up a job at a restaurant to pay bills, and I got my kind of got my ass kicked, and I realized that the restaurant industry is not for me, and I worked there for a few months and stuff. So, but this movie kind of just shows what it's like and whatnot, and how. Hey, listen. I think the bottom line is don't fuck with your server because your server's gonna fuck with your food. So, yeah, do not do that. But yeah, it's I think it's a funny movie. There's really nothing more to say, and it was my first introduction to Andy Milonakis. For the longest time, I thought he was a teenager, and then I realized that he had that condition where like he doesn't grow or like get taller and stuff. So he's actually older than I am. So fucking Andy Milonakis, he plays the busboy. Yeah, I like Waiting quite a bit. If you guys have not seen Waiting and you like raunchy comedies and you like stuff like Clerks, check it out.
I have never seen this movie, nor have I ever heard of it until you just brought it up. I honestly have never heard of this movie. Sorry.
Okay, I found it in my collection. Give me like 5 seconds. So sorry, the internet is being a shit right now, and I can't visually show you, but I'm gonna show Brian over Skype. You've never seen this.
No.
You've never fucking seen this.
I'm telling you the truth. I swear in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. I am not lying to you.
That's fucking crazy.
I have never seen or heard of this movie.
That's fucking nuts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Anna Faris is in it. Justin Long, Andy Milonakis, and Dane Cook and stuff. Luis Guzman. It's just, I fucking love it. Like, I don't even know what to say. So, yeah, sorry for the internet being a fuck. I can't show you guys because the internet's fucking dumb. So, yeah, that's my number 3. So, we're getting down to our top 2, guys. This is going to be interesting because I'll guarantee you that most of you have not seen my top 2, and I'm really curious to see what Brian's going to put in his top 2. Obviously, Adventureland is one of them. I'm just wondering if it's his favorite. So, I'm going to say... I'll make a bold guess. I'm going to say that Brian's number 1 is Adventureland. So, Brian, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Adventureland.
Oh, shit. Fuck me. Shit. Fuck. Okay, so...
Listen, you're always half right, so that's good enough.
Brian, that's still not good. That's 50%, which means I have failed. That's an F. I don't understand why you keep telling me like that's okay. It's not okay.
Oh my god! But we're not in school. Well, I'm in school, but you're. It's just a podcast. It's okay. Okay. Now Chase knows that I fucking love coming of age movies. That is my favorite genre. Adventureland is so goddamn incredible, so fucking underrated that I do not understand why most people my age have not seen this movie. Now, granted, it's not easy for kids my age to get jobs at all. It's really not. I mean, I have a job. I'm fine. I'm satisfied. Thank you. Have a good day. But this movie is really relatable no matter what, kid, teen, or adult. My parents watched this movie. Actually, no, wait. My mom saw this movie, and she said it was relatable. My dad has yet to watch it, and, my dad's usually smart with his movies, so I have no idea why he hasn't watched this yet. But, hey, you know what? I don't know. Dad, I love you, but come on, man. Come on. No, it's Jesse Eisenberg. His character, so relatable. Kristen Stewart, really heartbreaking character. And Ryan Reynolds, he may not be the lead of the movie, but his character is extremely pivotal to the story, especially to a certain character. And it's really fucking sad. It's it's kind of disgusting when you think about it, but he's so goddamn charming. Like when you meet him, he's so charming. But then as the movie progresses, you see his true colors, and you're like, yeah, fuck off. No, it's a great performance, and I have to agree with Chase. This is probably the director's best movie. And as much as I love Superbad, this is his best film. I mean, I also like Paul. You know, the guy has done good. I hadn't seen The Joneses, but I heard it sucked, so can't comment on that. I can't judge without seeing, so. But yeah, it's well written, it's well acted, it's well directed. I love the songs in the movie. I love the look of the movie. It feels like an 80s movie, and 80s is my favorite of decade, even though I wasn't alive in that decade. So yeah, Adventureland is my number 2. It's just a wonderful film, and Ryan Reynolds is quite wonderful here, and his performance is likable yet dislikable. So okay, likable but unlikable. So yep, that is it. Number 2, the end.
Okay, so now I'm really confused because I don't know what the hell your number 1 is. It's probably my number 1 then. If you've probably have seen it, so
it's gotta be.
It has to be because that's the best thing he's ever done for various reasons. But number 2,
yes. I'm
going to go with one I recently just saw last year. Now, I've heard a lot of things about it, and I wanted to give it a shot because I love when Reynolds kind of goes off the beaten path, like when he does something like an Amityville Horror or like a Safe House or whatnot. So I saw it last year. It was on Hulu, right? I really love dark comedies. I have heard a lot about this movie. I press play. An hour and a half rolls by, and I sit there, and I go, wow. Reynolds is a crazy motherfucker. Just picking all these awesome roles that these scripts are just so tiny and so indie. It's like, how does he find these things? My number 2. I really enjoyed the voices. Now, if you guys have never seen this one, the only thing I will say is that he hears his animals talk to him, and he pursues his office crush, and things go awry, and that's all I'll say. So he's basically just a crazy person hearing his dogs talk to him. So the Voices is an interesting dark comedy. Like I said, it feels like a really small indie film that Ryan Reynolds took a break in between all of his bigger films and shot it within a week. And I really like his character because he's very he's an introvert and he doesn't really talk to anyone. He's very shy. And then when this bad thing happens, it starts to get deeper and deeper into this dark territory. But since there is animals that are talking to him and stuff, and as acting as his subconscious, it's just hilarious to see him oh shit, what should I do next, dog of mine. So it's just, I don't know, it's a very interesting dark comedy. It's something very different for him, and it really gets into some dark ass territory, but I really enjoyed it because I like those kind of fucked up movies. So Brian, I know this is not on your list, so have you seen The Voices?
I still have yet to watch this one. I do want to watch it. I just haven't gone around to watching it because there's so many fucking movies to watch. I do want to check it out though. I like dark comedies as well, like yourself. So I do have interest in watching this.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I don't want to say anymore. Please go in blind, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised because Ryan Reynolds, like I said, just does all these weird smaller films, and I'll mention a couple of my honorable mentions when we're done. So, but speaking of small indie films, our number 1, Brian, I'm gonna take a stab at it. Does it have to deal with him underground?
Yes.
Okay, so our number 1 is the only film in his catalog where he is literally on screen for 100% of the time, and it's just him. Brian, what the hell is it?
We are talking about the very awesome 2010 thriller film entitled Buried.
if you guys have not seen Buried, what are you doing? I just want to keep this short and sweet because there's really nothing like to say on like how it's shot or is just Ryan Reynolds waking up in a coffin and it's just trying to see him escape. It is one of the most intense thrillers I have ever seen in a theater. I never thought it was going to be one of those ones that would be on the edge of my seat with the entire time, but I was just so curious on how he was going to get out, and like they actually made it work. They made that fucking movie work, and it all has to do on his performance. Because if it was a shitty ass actor or actress, and they can't carry that movie for 90 minutes while the camera is focusing on them trying to escape a coffin underground, your movie does not work. Ryan Reynolds is electric in this movie. You want him to get out. You fear for his life, but you're also just kind of fascinated by his smarts because he uses a lot of things within the coffin to try to escape. And you're like, I never even would have thought of that. So he's calm, cool, and collected while still being freaked out at the same time. But he's trained in a specific set of skills. So he uses that skills to try to get out, and I really enjoy it. It is one of the best thrillers that he's ever done for sure, and the whole movie lies on his shoulders. It's him for 90 minutes. I'm not even joking, because you know how like in these types of films, like there's cutaways and shit that deal with his past or other characters? No, it's just him. The only time you ever hear / see other characters is through a phone. That's it. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't know what else there is to say. It's just tightly edited and it's tightly directed to make a very claustrophobic thriller, and I enjoy it quite a bit, and I think it's the best thing he's ever done, and I am still shocked to this day, 7 years later, that he didn't get nominated for Dick for this movie. Like, this movie's so underrated that he should have been nominated for this. It should I wouldn't say best picture, but maybe best screenplay or something. Original screenplay, because how the fuck do you write a movie like that? Like, it's just insane. So, Brian, explain your love for Buried. And did you see this in theaters? Because I saw it in theaters and I paid money for it, and it was just me and my friend, right? And no one saw it.
I didn't get around to seeing it in the theater around this time when it came out. I was starting to get into movies, but like I didn't get around to seeing this. And you know what? Here's the reason why this movie didn't get nominated. It's because another great, 90-minute one-man movie came out called 127 Hours. And look, I'll say this right now. I fucking love 127 Hours. And I'm happy for all the love it got. But yeah, I agree with you. Reynolds was powerful in the movie. He should have gotten something. I know that he couldn't have, but, it would have been nice. If this came out at a different time, maybe. But because of 127 Hours, I feel like that kind of ruined this movie's chances. And, it's a completely directed. I mean, the dialogue's great. It's really hard to watch. It's intense. It's enthralling. It feels like Rope, which the director said he was inspired by, the Hitchcock movie. You watch the movie and you could tell right when it begins that it feels like Hitchcock. Like you could tell that the moment the movie begins. I appreciate the scope of the movie, even though it's just in this little box. I didn't know what to expect, and I watched it when it came out, like Netflix or something. I don't remember, but Reynolds. This is his best performance. It's his best performance. As fantastic as he is in Deadpool, this is the best performance he's ever done, period. And I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this from him. Maybe we will in the future. But as of right now, this is the best thing he's ever done. And Buried, for you guys who have not seen it, you got to give it a chance and watch it. Like I said, I think 127 Hours is the better made movie. But this one is also really well made. So you should give this a chance. It's not like a 127 Hours ripoff. Okay, maybe it's the fictional version, except this guy, his arm's not stuck. He has his arms and legs and everything, so, But it's really, really solid. Check it out, guys, please. It's the best thing Reynolds has ever been a part of in terms of filmmaking and in terms of acting. So the end, case closed, book just thrown away. The end, case closed.
Yeah, it's... You know what's really fascinating about it is that the director manages to develop character even in the midst of this like chaotic situation. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you do that when you're focusing on this dude for 90 minutes and not seem like it's ham-fisted or corny, like, and actually have genuine character moments while still trying to escape? Like, come on. Like, man, that fucking movie got snubbed. So that's it, guys, for our list. I'm going to go ahead and read them out since there's no video because the internet decided to be a jackhole. Brian's number 5 is Just Friends. Number 4 is Safe House. 3 is Deadpool. 2 is Adventureland. And 1 is Buried. For my list, 5 is Deadpool. 4 is Adventureland. 3 is Waiting. 2 is The Voices. And 1 is Buried. Now, Ryan Reynolds is, it's not just these 5 that he's done. There's a lot of films that he has done that we did not put on our list. So for honorable mentions, I will say Van Wilder. I actually like the Amityville horror film for what it is. Smoking Aces is a lot of fun. Just Friends. You know what? On a guilty pleasure level, I actually like The Proposal. Sue me. You know what? Paperman wasn't bad. As a small little indie film with him in bleach blonde hair. I thought it was interesting, and like I said, it goes back to Reynolds always picking these like weird, obscure indie films. So I enjoyed that. One's got Jeff Daniels in it. The Croods is really good. I really like that one. And that's it. The rest go under the dishonorable mentions. So Brian, what say you?
All right. The Croods, Smoking Aces, The Proposal. Definitely maybe, which is not as bad as I thought it would be. And I liked Turbo when I saw it, so I haven't seen it since. I have not seen Van Wilder. I know a lot of people give that like high praise, even though it's not really the best reviewed movie critically. But I will check that out in the future because I'm trying to binge so many National Lampoon movies because the National Lampoon biopic's coming out. I think like in a few months, directed by David Wayne. So yeah, that one I do want to see. So yeah, those are it with the honorable mentions.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's done some shit ones, and we have to address some of them because some of these are very bad. Like I'm talking very, very bad. So dishonorable mentions, I will go with Blade Trinity. I will give anyone $20 if they can remember the plot to me and tell it to me. No one? That's what I fucking thought. I don't remember the movie at all. I watched it once and I was like, this is a Blade film? That's cool. And then I just shut it off. The Change Up, didn't really care for that one with him and Jason Bateman. I just thought that was it was actually kind of a gross, raunchy comedy that didn't really have any laughs whatsoever and it was trying way too hard. It was the first project that the writers of The Hangover did after the Hangover craze because this came out like a couple years later. Okay. And there's 2 films that are tied. Fucking tied as the worst ones. I'm going to say that by a slight edge, the worst film is not Green Lantern because that one was pretty bad. It's fucking R.I.P. Double D motherfuck.
Ugh.
That film is terrible. You want to talk about a film that literally feels like they just watched Men in Black and was like, let's do a shittier version. And it's not like Men in Black is like some weird masterpiece. It's like it's an entertaining film, right? So Sony, I believe it was Sony that did this one, they were just like, well, we can do that but better, and we'll take Jeff Bridges' True Grit character, throw it in there, and have Ryan Reynolds be the comedic. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, and they gave it to us in 3D on that screening, and it was just awful. Like Green Lantern, there was expectations and stuff, and yes, it was bad, but R.I.P.D. was just on a whole nother level. It was just kind of like a head scratcher as to why the fuck all this happened. Like, at least with the positive of Green Lantern is that Ryan Reynolds got to meet his future wife. There you go. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, whatever, but R.I.P.D. is just so gross. Like what a great word to describe. It's just gross. It's just, what a bad movie. So yeah, Brian, what say you? What is some of the dishonorable mentions and lead up to your worst one?
All right, Blade Trinity. That's bad. Selfless with him, Ben Kingsley.
I thought that was
What a disappointment.
It was whatever.
Yeah, I found it to be very.
Oh,
I thought it was very. I agree to change up. It wasn't that funny. It was just the male version of Freaky Friday, but not in a good way. Like, it tried to be Freaky Friday, and I don't know, it didn't work. I'm surprised he didn't mention Origins. Even though his role's not super pivotal, like, that.
Yeah, that one was very bad.
Green Lantern. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I thought it looked good, and then it ended up being shit. And he was good in the movie. Like, I think a lot of people say that he was bad. He was actually really good in the movie for what he was given.
He wasn't a bad Hal Jordan. It was everything else around him that just, like, brought everything down.
And it's crazy because the guy who directed is the guy who directed Casino Royale and GoldenEye.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. But, yeah, his worst is easily R.I.P.D. Like, that's horrible. And, it tried to be Men in Black with, like, Ghostbusters and shit. Not a good movie. And the crazy thing is, the guy who directed the first Red movie with Bruce Willis. And I looked this up. The weekend that this movie came out, the sequel to Red came out. So that's kind of weird. And then this guy went on to direct Legion.
Ugh.
Ugh, gross. Yeah, this director is just no. Yeah, R.I.P.D. horrible. The Jeff Bridges playing the same characters as he plays now in every fucking movie. At least he has Hell or High Water now to, kind of somewhat let us forget about his shit. But anyways, yes, R.I.P.D. easily the worst thing Reynolds has done. I mean, yuck.
Yeah, so you know what? As much as I like Ryan Reynolds, I think he's definitely doing better now because of the success of Deadpool. And just like what we mentioned in our list, like there are some little gems out there that he has done that a lot of people don't really talk about. So yeah, that will do it for this week's episode, guys. Let me know down below in the comments what are some of your favorite and least favorite Ryan Reynolds films. I would like to know. And if you've seen The Voices or Buried or Adventureland, please let us know because those are definitely under said in conversation. Just bring them up. If you guys are talking about, like, if you're talking to your parents about, like, your porn addiction and you want to, like, just, like, your parents are like, stop watching so much porn. And then you're just like, oh, well, Buried's a good movie. Go watch it, fam. And they'll be like, oh, don't watch any more porn. So, if you can just find any conversation to kind of bring it up, that would just be wonderful because a lot of people need to know about that movie. So, Brian, what are we doing next week?
And next week, The Ghost in the Shell comes out to the theater, and we are going to be on the film's lead actress, Miss Scarlett Johansson, or as I like to call her, well, she's called Scarlett Johansson, but I call her ScarJo. So yeah, we're honoring ScarJo. Cannot wait because she is. Yep.
Well, since we're doing all audio, that was very disturbing for our listeners to see you.
Well, too bad. Too bad.
Come in your microphone. All right, so you know what, Scarlett Johansson. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna really have to look at her filmography to see what she was fantastic in, because that's gonna be really tough to kind of pick almost an Oscar-worthy thing. And there are a few things I have not seen. Like, for instance, and this will be a little tease, I have not seen Vicky Cristina Barcelona. I have not seen Match Point. I have not seen a lot of her more dramatic work, so I need to get on that, or I hope I've seen enough. So next week, guys, Scarlett Johansson should be a lot of fun, but Ryan Reynolds, which is funny because they used to be married. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds, please let us know down below all the goodies and all the bad. So Brian, before we leave, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at FilmJunkieBrian, and you can find me on YouTube simply at Brian Sutfield.
That is correct, and you can find me at Real Chase Lee on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on my podcast, follow on Brian's podcast. All that shit is in the description below, and I apologize that there's no video. If you can tell me how to fix it down below, that would be appreciated. I don't know what to fucking do. My computer, I think it's got so many viruses on it, and I gotta stop watching porn myself. So, So enjoy this episode, guys. A few days early. I'm leaving out of town. That's why we're recording it early. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I guess that's it. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
And I'm Brian Sutfield.
That is fucking right. See you guys next week for another episode of greatness. Bye-bye.